Ladies and gentlemen, our mind is the most powerful tool we have been blessed with. It shapes our thoughts, our decisions, and ultimately our destiny. Yet, for many of us, the mind often controls us rather than us controlling it. To live a life of peace, focus, and success, we must learn the art of mastering our mind. The human mind is the most extraordinary gift we possess. It is not just the center of thoughts, but the very foundation of imagination, creativity, decision-making, and willpower. Every invention, every success story, every transformation in history first began as a single thought in someone's mind. This shows that our minds are not only powerful, but capable of shaping the course of our lives. The way we use this tool determines whether we live a life of progress or remain trapped in limitations. When we truly understand the strength of our mind, we begin to see how thoughts can create reality. A positive mindset pushes us toward opportunities, while a negative mindset blinds us from them. For example, two people facing the same challenge may react differently. One might see defeat, while the other sees a lesson or a chance for growth. The difference lies not in the situation itself, but in how their mind interprets it. This interpretation can set the direction of their entire destiny. The mind also acts as a filter between the outer world and our inner world. It decides how we respond to circumstances, how we deal with stress, and how we handle success. If we allow our mind to wander uncontrolled, it can easily be overwhelmed by fear, doubt, and external negativity. But if we train it to remain steady and focused, the same mind becomes a source of clarity and strength. That is why so many great leaders, thinkers, and achievers emphasize the importance of mastering mental control before anything else. In shaping destiny, the mind functions like a seed. Whatever thoughts we plant inside it, whether positive or negative, will grow into the reality we eventually experience. If we constantly plant seeds of determination, discipline, and confidence, our destiny will reflect success and fulfillment. On the other hand, if we fill the mind with worry, anger, and self-doubt, our path will mirror those same weaknesses. Understanding this truth allows us to realize that we are not victims of fate, but active creators of our future through the power of our minds. Many people misunderstand the concept of controlling the mind. They believe it means rejecting or suppressing every thought that arises. But in reality, it is about guiding those thoughts toward a meaningful purpose. Suppression only creates inner conflict, where thoughts are forced down but never truly resolved. Over time, suppressed thoughts can resurface with even more intensity, causing stress or frustration. True control comes from understanding our thoughts, accepting them, and consciously directing them to serve our goals. Just like a teacher guides students in the right direction rather than silencing them, we must guide our mind instead of shutting it down. Thoughts are natural. They are part of being human. However, what we choose to do with those thoughts is what matters most. When a negative thought enters the mind, controlling it does not mean pretending it doesn't exist. Instead, it means acknowledging it, analyzing it, and then steering our focus toward something productive. This process transforms random mental energy into purposeful action. Guiding thoughts toward purpose requires awareness of what we truly want in life. A person without a clear purpose allows the mind to wander aimlessly, easily falling into distractions or negativity. But when we know our values, dreams, and long-term goals, it becomes easier to align our thinking with them. For instance, someone aiming to achieve success in their career can train the mind to replace self-doubt with self-encouragement or laziness with discipline. The more consistently this redirection happens, the more naturally the mind starts to work in harmony with one's purpose. It is also important to remember that controlling the mind is not about fighting against our emotions, but about channeling them. Anger, fear, or sadness, when redirected properly, can become sources of motivation and strength. For example, the frustration of failure can either break us down or fuel us to work harder. The choice lies in how we guide the mind during these moments. By practicing conscious redirection, we gain the ability to turn every thought, positive or negative, into a stepping stone toward growth and achievement. Every action we take begins as a thought. When those thoughts are positive, uplifting, and aligned with our goals, they naturally inspire us to act in ways that create progress. Over time, repeated positive actions develop into habits that empower our lives. Habits like discipline, consistency, patience, and perseverance These habits become part of our character and eventually shape the quality of our future. A single positive thought may seem small, but when repeated daily, it has the power to transform the entire direction of one's life. On the other hand, negative thoughts gradually eat away at our potential. When we allow self-doubt, fear, or envy to occupy the mind, our actions begin to reflect those thoughts. A person who constantly thinks, "I cannot do this," will eventually stop trying, even if they have the ability. Similarly, a person who allows anger or resentment to dominate will act in destructive ways, damaging both relationships and opportunities. Negative thoughts weaken our ability to move forward and create a cycle of failure and regret. The mind works much like fertile soil. It does not discriminate between the seeds we plant. If we plant seeds of positivity, such as hope, confidence, and gratitude, the soil of the mind nurtures them and helps them grow strong. But if we plant negativity, such as hatred, laziness, or fear, the same soil will also nurture those, leading to weeds that choke our potential. This is why guarding our thoughts is so important. The quality of our inner world directly determines the quality of our outer world. What makes positive thoughts even more powerful is their contagious nature. When you develop empowering habits like optimism, kindness, and persistence, others around you are influenced by them too. Your energy becomes a source of motivation for those you interact with. In contrast, negative habits spread discouragement and hopelessness. Therefore, choosing positivity is not only a personal benefit, but also a way of uplifting the environment and community around us. Discipline is the foundation upon which mental mastery is built. Without discipline, the mind becomes restless, easily distracted, and swayed by impulses. A disciplined mind knows when to focus and when to resist temptations that may lead it astray. For example, waking up early, sticking to routines, and committing to responsibilities all train the mind to obey purposeful commands rather than random desires. This steady practice builds strength, just like regular exercise strengthens the body. A disciplined mind is less vulnerable to distractions and more capable of pursuing long-term goals. Awareness plays an equally vital role in controlling the mind. It is the ability to observe one's thoughts without being enslaved by them. When we are aware, we recognize patterns in our thinking, such as recurring fears, doubts, or negative emotions. This awareness allows us to pause before reacting and choose a better response. For instance, instead of lashing out in anger, an aware person can recognize the emotion, calm themselves, and respond wisely. This practice of awareness not only prevents mistakes, but also nurtures inner peace, as it keeps us from being overwhelmed by impulsive reactions. Self-control ties both discipline and awareness together into practical action. It is the power to say no to harmful temptations and yes to what truly matters. Self-control ensures that even when emotions are strong, they do not dictate our decisions. A student with self-control, for example, resists procrastination and chooses to study instead of wasting time. Similarly, a professional with self-control manages stress calmly and avoids reacting irrationally. By practicing self-control, we strengthen our ability to direct the mind, making it a servant of our will rather than a master of our impulses. Together, discipline, awareness, and self-control form a powerful trio that enables us to rise above chaos and confusion. They create a structure for the mind, allowing it to function with clarity and purpose. Without these qualities, the mind is like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly and vulnerable to every storm. But with them, the mind becomes a strong vessel, capable of navigating challenges and reaching its destination with certainty. These three qualities, when practiced daily, transform mental energy into a tool for success and fulfillment. Focus is the ability to channel our mental energy toward a single task or goal, shutting out unnecessary noise and interruptions. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere: social media, constant notifications, and endless demands for attention. Without focus, the mind scatters its energy on many things but accomplishes very little. Developing focus trains the mind to hold steady, like a magnifying glass concentrating sunlight into a powerful beam. It transforms ordinary efforts into extraordinary results by ensuring that our actions are aligned with our true intentions. Meditation, on the other hand, is a practice that strengthens focus while also calming the mind. It creates a space where we can observe our thoughts without judgment, gradually loosening the grip of fear, anger, or anxiety. Through meditation, we learn that thoughts are like passing clouds. They appear and disappear, but they do not have to control us. By practicing meditation daily, we can quiet the endless chatter of the mind and build resilience against negative emotions that otherwise drain our energy and clarity. Fear and anger are two of the strongest forces that can hijack the mind. Fear creates hesitation and doubt, while anger blinds us to reason and pushes us toward destructive behavior. Both emotions, if left unchecked, can consume our energy and block progress. Focus and meditation act as shields against these forces. When the mind learns to concentrate and remain calm, fear loses its power and anger fades before it can control our actions. In this way, we remain in charge of our responses rather than being dominated by emotions. Distractions may never disappear completely, but focus and meditation give us the strength to manage them. A person who cultivates focus becomes capable of prioritizing what truly matters, while meditation provides the inner calm to handle challenges with patience. Together, they create balance, a sharp mind that knows where to direct energy, and a peaceful heart that is not shaken by chaos. With this combination, the mind becomes less vulnerable to negativity and more committed to growth, success, and inner harmony. One of the greatest benefits of controlling the mind is the freedom it provides from anxiety. Anxiety often arises when our thoughts race uncontrollably toward uncertain futures or replay painful memories of the past. A mind without control magnifies these fears, making even small problems appear overwhelming. But when we learn to guide our thinking, we stop feeding unnecessary worries. Instead of being dragged into endless cycles of what if, a controlled mind focuses on what can be done. This shift reduces anxiety and replaces it with confidence and calmness. Impulsive reactions are another area where mind control proves invaluable. Many regrets in life come from acting without thinking. Words spoken in anger, decisions made in haste, or actions driven by temporary emotions. These impulses can damage relationships, careers, and even personal peace. By mastering the mind, we create a pause between emotion and action. In that pause lies the power to choose a wiser response. With control, we learn to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting blindly, preserving harmony in our lives and relationships. Suffering, too, is often intensified by an uncontrolled mind. Pain is a part of life, but suffering comes from how we think about that pain. When the mind clings to negative experiences, replays past mistakes, or constantly compares with others, it deepens our struggles. However, when the mind is trained, it learns to accept challenges, see lessons in difficulties, and let go of unnecessary burdens. This does not eliminate pain, but it prevents pain from turning into prolonged suffering. A controlled mind thus becomes a source of resilience, allowing us to endure hardships without being broken by them. Ultimately, the freedom gained from mind control is not about escaping life's challenges, but about facing them with strength and clarity. Anxiety, impulsiveness, and suffering lose their hold when the mind is steady. Instead of being tossed around by emotions and circumstances, we become captains of our inner world. This inner freedom empowers us to live with greater peace, stability, and purpose, no matter what storms may surround us. The ultimate strength of mastering the mind is the ability to take charge of life itself. External situations are often beyond our control, whether it be challenges in work, difficulties in relationships, or unexpected hardships. However, the one thing that always remains within our grasp is how we think and respond. A person who has gained mastery over their mind does not crumble under pressure, but instead uses challenges as stepping stones. This control turns obstacles into opportunities, making it possible to move forward even when circumstances seem unfavorable. Life constantly presents us with uncertainty, but the mind determines whether we see that uncertainty as a threat or an adventure. A controlled mind recognizes that setbacks are temporary and that persistence brings new chances for success. Rather than wasting energy in frustration or self-pity, it channels thoughts into solutions and growth. Such mental mastery allows a person to rise above circumstances, refusing to be defined by them. This is why individuals with a strong mental discipline often achieve greatness despite humble beginnings or difficult journeys. Mastering the mind also ensures consistency in personal growth. External circumstances may shift, but an individual with mental control remains steady in their purpose. For example, someone who has trained their mind to remain focused and resilient will continue working toward goals even during times of struggle. While others may give up when life gets tough, those who command their minds push forward with patience and determination. This ability to remain constant in effort, regardless of external conditions, is what leads to long-lasting achievement. Moreover, mastery of the mind brings a sense of inner fulfillment that circumstances cannot take away. Wealth, success, or recognition may come and go, but the peace of a trained mind remains steady. Such individuals do not depend solely on external events for happiness because their strength comes from within. This inner mastery creates balance, allowing one to enjoy success without arrogance and endure hardship without despair. In this way, those who control their mind not only master their life, but also live with a freedom and stability that no external force can destroy. In the end, mastering the mind is the key to mastering life itself. Our thoughts shape our habits form our character, and our character defines our destiny. By learning to guide our thoughts, practicing discipline, embracing focus, and cultivating self-control, we gain freedom from fear, anger, and suffering. We discover that true strength does not come from controlling the world around us, but from controlling the world within us. Circumstances may change, challenges may come, but a trained mind remains steady, purposeful, and resilient. When you control your mind, you unlock the highest potential of your life, one built not on chance, but on choice,